Okay, I'd like to open up the Select Board meeting Monday, December 14th. Number one on the agenda is to approve the November 23rd minutes. I would, on number 4, I'd like to change, instead of saying men from Cotton Design, it was the designers from Cotton, and I'll give you the other name. I'll have to look it up, it starts with a B, and I'll look it up in the phone book. I think it's Boleski or something like that.
Isn't his name listed in the...
It is Belaski, B-E-L-A-S-K-I.
So what do you want to correct?
So it'd be designers from Cotton, Belaski, engineering, designers are designers. Okay. Are there any other additions or changes? Are you still reading, Bob?
Up to that
Okay,
second.
sorry.
I'm sorry, I was not able to download this on the computer, so first shot.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Oh, this wasn't mine.
I'll move that we accept the minutes as amended.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Number 2 on the agenda is to approve the timesheets, approve the timesheets for the town office, listers, highway, and transfer station. Number 3 is to review and sign the select board orders. If nobody has any objections, we don't have any public concerns, I take it. Clara Robinson and Sue Stomski are here from the library. I'd like to add them in at this time, if nobody has any objections. No objections. Okay, ladies.
So I have a packet for each of you, and all it is just a copy, which you probably already do get from WSWMD of the last trustee meeting. So this is also a little wish list on the back. That's not about us wishing, it's just our total books that we want to ask people for and stuff.
Are you working on the budget for next year?
We're not.
We haven't started yet.
Yeah, but this is not our agenda tonight.
No, we're not here to ask you for any money.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, we're here because we are excited.
Yeah, we are. We've talked about it in the last several meetings of just coming to say, stop it, come see what we're doing. Come check out the library. We're not quite sure, the things that we've been doing have been pretty cool. We're all really excited. We've painted the children's room. We had United Way there volunteering with some volunteers one day. They painted the floor, they painted some bookcases. My dad, Valentine, and her husband, Harry, have built brand new bookcases, and they're volunteering their time, and the wood was donated. We painted them. We've got 2 of the 3 are in. They put in, one more's almost done. I just got to go down and finish painting that down in the cellar, but it's cool.
So the basement's all done?
The basement, no, this is just upstairs in the adult room. This is in the adult room. And they replaced the back wall, the wall that abuts the main room, the street, with all slab boards, and did some insulating, and we repainted the outside of those bookcases. We got new chairs for the kids, the adults to sit at the computers. A couple of new chairs. We bought brand new window coverings. We're rolling. Yeah, we're excited because it's welcoming now. The colors are great. It's great.
Yeah, it's become a community center is what is the difference I think it really has. I mean, and you'll see in your packet, I think on page 3, if you want to just flip it. I think it was page 2. Down towards the bottom, it gives a list, a little synopsis of the increase of how many patrons. And I think it lists, I don't have the figures right in front of me, but you do.
Yeah,
And it's really a big jump.
98 versus 21.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, and children.
Children and adults from 108 to 177.
That's right, and you see how many children have been, being served. Computers are used a lot. It's just become a place where it is a community center. And because, as Judy knows, our numbers are dwindling at the church, this also serves as a place for people to congregate and see each other. The book club has 8 members in it, and it's ongoing all the time. 8 to 10 members, which is something that's exciting and that brings in outside people. And it's the children's programs, and Susie can talk about the ones that are happening with the conjunction with the school, and how exciting. I said at the meeting why I wanted to come was because when I saw those kids march down the street with their little library cards around their necks and smiles like this, I said the select board has to know that. I have to come and share that with you because these children have their own library cards. This is our future, and I'm just excited. I mean, I think it's important for us to know how important the library is to the town, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, I do the after-school program at Jamaica School, and it's pretty cool. We've done a couple of programs in conjunction with the library. Janet Hamilton has come to the school, and it's a book project, so she reads a story, and then they do a craft to go along with that story. And the story was chosen, from the library. Janet brings it down. The kids walk up, I believe it's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd and 4th graders walk up once a week and visit the library and go home with a new book. During the summer, I did the Explorers Camp here in Jamaica with conjunction with WCSU. And 2 or 3 of the days every week, the kids walked up to the library as part of the summer program, and there were an average to 50 and 60 kids a day that were there that walked up to the library and were able to, once they came up and got free books, and the smile on their faces, it was in conjunction with, I believe, the Cliff program or something.
Yeah, the Cliff.
We got free books, so they all were able to do it, and that's not just Jamaica kids, it's the Valley. It's all the district towns can come to the camp. But that was exciting, because I got to walk up and see the library, and we had the open room downstairs where we have our book sale set up all the time, and they were able to come home another day with a free book from the book sale. They said, we don't have to bring it back, and we told them no, it was pretty cool.
And when you hear a child say, can I keep this? Can I have my own book? I mean, that's enough to just say, okay, that's why we're here, just to let you know how important it is. There's a lot of ongoing projects that we have, and some of them, I'm sure you'll see that in the packet from we have a library meeting, I think, coming up on Thursday, which we'll be talking about our budget and that. But, of course, one of our things is bathroom. I don't know about bathrooms, especially Judy. So that we're working on grants. We were able to get some grants, but you know how that goes. I mean, we can't do everything. We have donations coming in, but we're still working, and we will be. So we did get a generous donation from the Thrifty Attic, in part towards a heater that we can put downstairs. We didn't get the total, but we got some, so we can put downstairs for heating that part of the room.
So what do you do with the basement now? Just this?
That's
That's
Right,
right,
yeah,
sale.
well, there's a sale is set up in part of it, and the other part, the guys still have the lumber from working up above, but we're working on getting a grant money to be able to put the plywood or whatever it's called, sheetrock, put sheetrock around and get that done. We had an electrician come in, and he did do some wiring.
As far as the grant.
As far as the grant, because we applied for a grant, and the specific grant was X amount of money to do wiring, so we worked upstairs, and what was left, we had him do stuff downstairs, outlets and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully we're getting there. We really sort of stepped away from the downstairs a little bit to really get the upstairs cleaned and welcoming, so that we could have people come in and be proud of our tiny little library. And they are. It's pretty cool.
It's huge, yeah.
It's a lot of work. We've all put in a lot of Clara and I standing on step ladders painting and looking at each other and goes, what are we doing? But it's fun, and it looks good, and it's a lot of volunteers, so it's definitely a better community.
What? It's like we did the playground.
Yeah, exactly.
We did that.
And that's what you
It
do.
takes a lot of volunteers,
It
and
does.
it takes, we have a very active board. I mean, I really think we're all on the same page as far
It's
as
fun.
wanting to volunteer, and we, I accused Janet of wanting me on the board because she really wanted my husband to help with his carpenter skills, but other from that, she said it wasn't that, but anyhow.
It's going good. So I guess we just want to invite you to stop by.
Yeah.
We're hoping to expand the hours sometime along. That's another
That's
goal
somewhere in here in
that
the
we have
minutes.
is to expand, is to expand the hours. Our librarian has amazing program she's coming up with, and we're trying to get it all online too. That's the other grant we're applying for. Is
Yeah.
I can't think what the name of it's called.
Yeah, I don't even-
But it's getting our books so that they're all computerized, so that people can do it, and there's a way to go online and get books through our website. So it's pretty cool.
But I'm more excited about the fact that there are physical people coming to the library.
The building
I mean,
itself is
it's
being
great to go electronics and all that, but it's still wonderful to have physical, children and the adults that are actually walking through the door and accessing the library.
It's great.
Don't you have computers there too? Like
We
they-
do,
we do have,
yeah,
they're well
yeah,
used,
for it. They-
yeah.
yeah, all the time.
People are in-
And a printer. so
And
people
more
can-
recently, I think we have something on the minutes about accessing for taxes. There's going to be somebody coming to help do your taxes if you need them, and stuff like that. They have good connections, I think, and so. And again, we do have programs with the Historical Society and with the church, using that to.
The movies we did last summer with the Vermont movies we did
Yeah.
in conjunction with the church and the
And I
Historical
think this
Foundation.
year we're planning on doing some movies, just regular movies, a movie night, and it will be at the church,
Same
it'll
type
be
of thing.
done through the library, so.
What I like about you coming here, and I think I've talked to you, Clara, about it, is that it's not only important that we know, but that we're on television.
Well, that's
And
true.
there are a lot of people
Smile.
who watch this, so the word is really
Yeah,
going to
it
get
is
out
important.
too,
We do have
not
patrons.
beyond
out
us.
there. Yeah,
So.
it's very good.
It is. No, the board has done a wonderful job, and especially the volunteers. I mean, you girls have really
Worked hard.
gone above and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, my dad and her husband have really worked hard.
Yeah, their trucks are always there.
They're always
They are.
there.
And they're.
It's
Keep
good.
them out of
Keeps
trouble.
them out of trouble. I
It
agree.
does.
They keep each other out
That's
of
what I
trouble.
was saying, it keeps them out of trouble, but they do, it is a lot of work that we don't have to, put out for, so.
But if you could get, not to change the subject, if you could get the budget ASAP.
Yeah, I know that's on the, like,
Well,
it's a-
that's on the agenda for.
that's on the agenda, so we should
For
have
When is
Thursday.
Thursday, your meeting this Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Have it done
Yep,
Thursday, and
you should have it
just
done
send it
Thursday.
over, email it
Yeah,
to.
that's really good.
Jen will get it to you.
Perfect.
All right?
Okay,
All right, very
thank
much.
you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks,
for
guys.
coming in and
Thanks.
telling us about it, even
Yeah.
though we
Just, yeah,
We do, I've been in a few times and seen the work that has been done.
Yeah.
It looks really.
but it keeps on being done, so keep on
Yeah,
coming.
keep on,
All of
come
them.
on, come in,
Stop by.
yeah, totally.
Stop by, Andy. Walk right by with your dog.
Stop
You
by.
can even come to the door with the dog. I'll hold the dog.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say that, you should bring it up.
Doesn't say that.
Doesn't say
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thanks a lot.
Good night.
No.
That's- All right, number 4 on the agenda is we received a notice from the state of Vermont, the Drinking Water and Groundwater Protection Division, property of Paul and Sandra Gate. I hope I said that properly. They're on Wild Turkey Run, the last place on Wild Turkey Run. The existing camp is going to be converted into a 2-bedroom, single-family residence with a shared on-site sewage system and well. And this is just for our information to look at. As you know, we've been talking about the Newtown garage for the last several months. And now we're at the point where we'll need funds to build this garage if it goes through. Lou and I have been talking about the bond proposal that will be needed. Lou got in touch with Attorney Giuliani, I think that's his name, and Lou can give us the information about the bond and how that process works for us. Lou?
Judy, you want to pass that? The bonding in the state is an interesting process. The individual cities and towns don't actually go out to the bond market on their own. They actually do it as part of the state. The state goes out on behalf of all the cities and towns using the state model, and I guess they do it once a year. I guess in about the August time frame they do it. And all the cities and towns who want to bond all bond as one. So, anyways, I called the bond office, and he recommended that we get in touch with a bond attorney. And it turns out that there's one attorney that does about 90% of all the bond issues in the state of Vermont, and his name is Paul Giuliani. So I called Paul and told him what we were trying to do, and he was very eager to help. What he did was he put together a little package for me, which I passed out to you, which kind of outlines how this would work. First of all, what he said was that we don't have to have our plans in place, everything engineered, ready to go in order to bond. We can bond based on an estimate, and it's basically a not to exceed amount, which is good because that means that we don't have to go out and hire an engineer to design this, pay thousands of dollars, and then find out that the bond doesn't pass, which would be sort of a wasted effort. So in essence, we can wait on the engineering until the actual bond passes, and then we can use the money that's part of the bond to pay for the engineering, which is good. The first 2 pages kind of list the steps, and it's interesting, this is really something that the town clerk will sign at the very end, and what she will sign is all these steps that were taken and what dates votes were taking, and this is really our outline on how to proceed. The first thing that will happen is we'll have a meeting in January, and we'll adopt a resolution, and then we will adopt a warning to have this bond issue voted on by the townspeople at on our town meeting day. So in essence, not only would they vote on, I guess town meeting day this year would be a presidential primary. Not only would the ballots be open for the presidential primary and all the other things that would be on that ballot, but we'd have a separate ballot which would be for the bond issue. And then at the after that is done, or before that is actually done, we have to have a public meeting, and we have to warn that meeting, and all that information is part of this packet. If you go on and look through the packet, you see the declaration of official intent. That has to be approved by us in January, and then I suspect has to be sent back to the state. And then the resolution certificate, which is we will approve at that January meeting, which will certify that that we resolved to actually do this. And this is all the wording, all the legality, the legal wording that has to go with this.
We
Then,
can make changes
pardon me?
on the amount.
Oh yeah, we can make changes. Yep. This amount is just the amount I gave
Okay.
Paul Giuliani. We can change that if we'd like. The next to the last page is the warning, which has to go out for the election. And then the last page is what the ballot would look like. So it doesn't have to look like this, but this is an example of how that ballot might look. So there will be a separate ballot at that election just for this issue.
Right, and instead of special meeting, it'll be town meeting.
Well, no, it's
It's really
a
not.
special meeting, I think, but it's in alliance with the town. I think.
Okay,
Um,
just to be sure we have it.
Right, we won't actually do anything on town meeting day. You know, we could talk about it if we wanted,
Right.
but we don't have to actually do anything physical in the
No, no,
town
I
offices
understand that,
or
right,
town
because
hall.
that's when it'll be voted on.
Right.
Right. But I just wasn't sure with the ballot. You can double check with him, or it says special meeting March 1st, 2016.
I'll
think it
ask him
should
about the
be-
word special.
Yes. Because I'd like everything to be
Yep.
done correctly, so it doesn't get thrown back at us.
The reason I passed this out to you now is so you can have a chance to look at it. You can look at the resolution and the like, and then when we come back at our first meeting in January, we'll actually vote on these things. If you recall at our last meeting, when the engineers were here, they talked about putting together a committee. So that's something I think we should talk about tonight and how we want to set up that committee.
I talked with David Cotton tonight, and because they did the Win Hall town garage, and I asked them how they went about getting their building committee, and what it was. I believe it was one selectman and the road foreman. And the road foreman was sort of the head person because he'd been there a long time, so he knows all about what they need and what their needs weren't, and then bring it back to the select board. So I would like to make a suggestion that we have Keith be our head person, contact person with Win Hall and with the select board, and then have Lou and I work with Keith and bring everything that Keith tells us. Keith will always be here, but bring it to us and then bring it to the board. If anybody has any objections to that or any additions,
That's good.
is that a?
Have you talked to Pete about this already? He knows what's happening.
He knows what's happening, and he's been talking to the folks up in Win Hall to see what they like, what they don't like, and he'll continue to do that, so.
I wasn't here for the planning, but I have a question. Is there gonna come a time when what he's working in now needs to be knocked down, destroyed, taken out? Is there gonna be?
I imagine it will be removed because a new building will be
in the
put
same
there.
footprint? During that period of time, how's that going to affect the operation of
That I don't know, we haven't got that far yet.
It's a good question,
It's a good-
obviously.
Right.
Hopefully this will happen in the summertime, so we don't have to worry about,
the snow?
cold weather or snow.
Right,
Another
we're
shit.
gonna see if we can get it done, and for the public hearing, we'll have a brochure with the plans, the floor plans, the plans of the garage, what's gonna be there, pictures of our garage now, what the fellas have to work in, and then a site visit possibly. I think that would be very important so people would understand that it's not a frivolous thing that we want to do. It's something that's needed. If we wait much longer, it'll just cost more and more and whatnot. And our road crew is basically, that costs the most for the town. And they keep our roads clean for everybody. They're always out there taking care of the town and whatnot. And it's a demanding job, the night when there's snow, if we ever get snow. For them to go out and they've never complained about the garage. It's very hard to work on the trucks there. It's narrow. I said it before. Their lunch place is right where the trucks are, which it shouldn't be. So it's time that we update.
The other important thing is that right now, most of our equipment sits
And it's sitting
outside.
outside, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that equipment would be brought indoors during
Right.
the winter.
Because it gets ruined in the weather, being outside in the elements and stuff like that. And this way, our equipment will last longer.
Sure. No, I absolutely agree with that.
Does anybody have any questions or?
So when this goes to a vote, not the bond, actually, to go to a vote to the town,
Well, the bond vote will actually be the vote. In other
That's
words,
what I'm asking.
we won't be going to the town and saying, do you want to have a town garage? And then afterwards, if the answer is yes, then we go out to a bond. No,
Okay,
it would be a bond vote and
For?
for the purposes of erecting a new town garage. So there'd only be one vote.
Right.
So essentially, we're deciding we need a new building. We need the voters to decide if we get to pay for it.
Right,
That's what I was.
yeah.
That's
never
a
been
good way to
asked
put it,
about
right?
this.
Always the question, how do we pay it back?
A bond is, I think is it paid back yearly, a certain amount?
We probably have quarterly payments. I didn't ask that question. It's a
I
good
don't
question,
know.
though. I'll ask the payment terms.
Yeah, that would be good to know.
And then we'll have to figure out, you
Because they're
know,
gonna have to know that.
well, they're
The
gonna have
interest
to.
rates are at a good point right now, too. The good thing about it is that the state has a very good bond rating. And, you know, obviously the town of Jamaica doesn't have any history of bonds, so therefore, on its own, might be considered to be a risk. Whereas instead, we're part of a state bond, and we have the same risk that the state has.
And
which is
it'll only be
pretty
for
good.
so many years, and we'll make sure we have the treasurer figure out for those years that it's gonna be, how much the tax rate would go up for each the person and things like, we'll have everything.
They're gonna want, that's one of the major
They
questions.
may ask
that they ask.
this, which I'm a little hesitant to ask. Well, we know by then, all of our our FEMA projects, will they all be closed out by the next town meeting beside Gooderdale Bridge?
Probably even Goodydale Bridge,
Should be.
because, well, let me rephrase it. No, it will not be Goodydale. We can't pave the approaches to the bridge until spring. So by the town meeting day, we will not have that one completed, no. But Water Street should be, the paperwork should be taken care of, everything else. And most of the bills for the bridge, we can get partial payments for, so we can kind of keep up with that.
Maybe ask if everything has been paid.
Yeah, that's a good, and
And
then,
what the town's gonna be left owing on what FEMA didn't pick up, which would have nothing to do with money from that bond,
yeah, it's good, it's a good question.
but we'll be paying the bond back somehow.
Right through taxes.
At that point, in March, we,
Well, I'm just saying we may wanna be ready.
yeah, no, that's a very good
Questions.
question, yeah.
At the same day, they're gonna vote on
It would be good to be able to present some numbers.
it. It'd be nice if they're.
Right,
Or
in
close
fact,
out.
we would want to have that information by our January meeting, as we vote on,
Yeah,
as we as a group vote.
the only glitch, and I'm kind of tiptoeing around the topic because I don't have a concrete answer, but part of the issue is it takes so long for FEMA to do the paperwork. You know, they haven't done anything and stuff we've closed out months ago, because it just goes into this long, drawn-out bureaucratic system. So by the 1st of March, we may have done our portion to close the projects out, but we haven't heard from FEMA, so
So that by not hearing from FEMA, does that mean that they won't reimburse us, or they will reimburse us, it's just taking a longer time?
Yeah.
And that would be the.
Our expectation is that.
The
by
money
that-
that we've asked for will be coming in.
Yeah, we've gotten an awful lot of the partial payments. We've got a big chunk of what is coming. There's some final thing, it's only
That
reimbursed
are
partial
coming,
payments.
that it takes a while to get.
And we become less and less of a priority.
Well, as new disasters happen. But this money's already been allocated, so it's not like we have to
Okay.
compete against another
I
pool.
was just curious about if those are gonna.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I'm
Will
all
this-
for a new garage.
Will this have any effect on the town well for the town hall?
What do you mean,
That, because that has to be done,
the garage, you mean?
No.
No, the FEMA?
the town hall well.
How we're gonna pay for it?
Yeah, so that it's going to be postponed or whatever because of
Better.
finances.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
I would hope that these.
Okay.
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's
Me and Judy are
really,
getting ready.
Because our FEMA money-
Start dating.
The FEMA projects, the money is coming in.
So,
In the FEMA projects, the money's coming in. Each time you
Yeah,
throw something out, the money is coming in, but it's coming in slowly.
It's coming in
So that won't
slowly,
have any
yeah.
effect on,
it should not.
well, because the well is going to take a minimum of probably 10,000, so we've got to keep that in our head.
right.
Yeah.
Whether
But when we do our budget too, we'll put that in for our budget and whatnot to make sure that that gets taken care of. But as far as the town garage, that'd just be that one bond and I don't know how many years, figure it out, what's best for the
Yeah,
town.
I'll get the payment terms before our
Right.
And as you're looking through this over the next couple of weeks before our January meeting, if you would call me with any questions so I can then get the answer before that meeting,
Sure.
that would be good. Either call me or email me a question.
That will help an awful lot.
If I'd like to get this on the agenda for January, get it voted on, we can start the process, set up that special town meeting. It's not a meeting itself, it's really an informational meeting. It has to be held within 10 days prior to the election.
Right.
So during the last week of February, we'll probably have this.
And we'd like to get that. Otherwise,
Is this
if we-
the number that we're kind of looking at?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a final number from the engineers, but that was the number, if you recall last week, I think.
The most, it
Right.
seemed like.
between
They didn't think it
750.
would be more than that.
Right. We might want to put in 800,000 just to be safe, but, because this is a not to exceed number.
Right. So we want to make sure that we have enough to pay for
We'll
that.
decide that at the
Yeah,
January.
it's not like we have a long history of coming in under the estimates.
Now, the good news is that there was an RFP just done last year at Winhall. We can't imagine this would be a whole lot more.
Right, and talking to David Cotton, he came right, you know, they didn't go over a lot, everything was right there, and it went very smoothly
Yeah.
for them. This way, if we don't get all this information in for the March meeting to vote on, then we have to have a special meeting, and then it'll cost the town a lot more money, because we have to have people come in and, you know, hold it, I don't know. So it would be beneficial for everybody to have it on town meeting, and then we can move forward, and if it does pass, hopefully it will, you know, we can start construction.
We can start the engineering work almost right away, put out the RFP, and maybe be under construction next year.
Yeah,
In 16?
16,
Yeah.
yes,
Really?
so.
Let me just tell you how that works. At town meeting day, that will be the election. If it was passed, you have to wait 30 days for anybody to appeal it. And then after 30 days, you are eligible for a bond, a note in anticipation of a bond, which means that you can then go out and start borrowing that money immediately, so you can start paying engineering costs and stuff like that. So
It's just a matter of finding a contractor in such short notice. It's like the middle of summer almost, by the time that gets going.
yeah,
That's why I asked.
right. I mean, it could be this year. Maybe it couldn't be
That
done
would be
next
the
year.
only thing that would hold it up if it was approved.
Do you know how long it took Winhall to actually go through the construction process?
I meant to ask David, and something else came up, we started to talk about that, and then something came up, and, because I've got time frame, and I have the cost in there, and then we got talking about something else, and I forgot to go back and ask him that, so that I
Let's
missed.
ask him.
We're into colder months, I think.
It may come to pass because of the fact that we've got limited space, that if it looks like it's gonna run into the winter, then it would be better to put the thing off until 17.
We'll have to sort that
Right,
out.
well, let's see what happens first, and,
Yeah, I'd love to see it done next year.
I
We
would
can
too.
do that, but I'm just thinking about,
Somebody got
Let's-
all that free time.
yeah.
Let's think positive.
Yeah,
Think positive, okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right. Does anybody have any questions for myself or Lynn regarding this?
Do you know what kind of a bond it will be? I know that that's done by the state, but.
Yeah,
what
it
kind
would,
of
it
bond?
would be a, what do they call it? A municipal bond.
Right.
Municipal?
It would be municipal.
Because there are all sorts of them, some of them are like 10,000,
Yeah, I
or
think,
the minimum,
yeah. You know, this would be a municipal
Bond.
bond, and I don't know how, it wouldn't be just one large note that we would get from one investor. It would be smaller people. They could probably put in
so
increments
you
of
could put
10,000.
it out for sale.
Right.
So,
So then if you have any money, you can also buy the bond.
Do they sell for $1.98?
They are tax exempt, federal tax exempt,
There you
so.
go.
okay. Lou, do you have anything else?
No, I do not. Wait a minute, I did want to just mention that Wyndham Solid Waste did have a meeting last last Thursday, and I was gonna send out to everybody, but I forgot, a link to the Brattleboro Selectboard meeting. That the Brattleboro Selectboard did have some questions on the budget, and we went through a couple of meetings with their town manager. They were interested in what they call fee for service. And fee for service means that instead of just all of us pooling our resources together and spreading the cost of those services based on population, instead they want to see something that is more fee oriented. So anytime they come out to pick up one of our boxes, for example, Jamaica would pay a fee for that. Anytime our program director was in a Brattleboro school, Brattleboro would pay a fee for that. And when it came to our household hazardous waste, for example, typically we have about 300 or 400 people that participate. Maybe 80% of them are from Brattleboro. So Brattleboro would pay 80% of that cost. So in other words, instead of everybody pooling our resources and just collectively paying for things, that there might be more of a fee-based service. How that affects Jamaica, it's not quite sure. We looked a little bit about how a similar fee-for-service would be if the district went out to out of the recycling business. So it was kind of like that, only instead of paying that fee to Triple T, we would pay that hauling fee to the district, although we wouldn't have to pay the cost of the tipping fee, which I think was like $50 a ton. But whether that would benefit Jamaica or not, we don't know, because Jamaica uses so little of the other services that even though we have to pay a little bit more for trucking, we'd be paying less for other services. Well, it became a little bit too difficult to try to do this right away, because we haven't really explored that yet. So what we've decided to do with the district is to run 2 sets of books, basically, for the next 8 months or 6 months, and see what each town might have been charged for those services during the course of those 6 months, so we'd be able to gauge what those services would cost us, and know how our assessment would be changed based on that fee-for-service model. Brattleboro would also be getting that report, and they may find that they're paying more money because they get more other services rather than the transportation services. So anyways, we decided we would do that for 6 months, evaluate that before July 1st, and then as we begin next year's budget process, we'd have that information ready for us. So this year's budget will not be affected by that fee-for-service model, but we will be looking at that for the possible 2017 budget. The other thing that I don't have the actual numbers for the appraisal, but the budget itself was changed last week or last Friday a little bit to add some overtime. We had tried to run a bare bones operation for the last month to see how it would work before we actually committed ourselves to next year's budget. And we found that at the holiday time, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, we need more temporary help. So we've upped the budget about another $20,000 to account for temporary help during these holiday periods. And therefore, instead of our budget going down by 11.5%, it will go down by about 8%. So our assessment based on those numbers we got a couple weeks ago is going to go up about 3%. So that's the report from the district. Anybody have any questions?
I do know that Christmas last year we ran into major problems because of the overuse, I guess, by people in all Christmas wrappings and things like that, that many of our recyclables were not picked up, and we had to put a lot into the compactor because there wasn't any room. And that same thing was happening again this Thanksgiving, because it ended up on a Thursday, which where Thanksgiving always is. And I know we were overloaded with bottles and cans. We had to lock the dumpster up, And also I heard the same thing, that was Wardsboro is dealing with the same issues. So Mark actually ended up putting a lot of them in one of the open, what do you call them, down below, the receptacles down there, and then he brought them back up when they finally came and emptied it. So yeah, holidays have been a problem.
Yeah, Thanksgiving we found was really tough this year. I don't know why, but it's a 2-day holiday for the employees. And we have a meeting on Thursday night. One of the things I'm going to be proposing at that meeting is that we not have a 2-day Thanksgiving holiday anymore. Instead, we have them work on Friday and give them another day off, like perhaps Veterans Day or something like that, so that we don't get as backed up. Thanksgiving was tougher this year than somehow it's been in the past. Because as I said, we've been trying to run on next year's budget to see if we can actually run with that staffing level. And I think we found that we can't during the holidays. So. Any other questions? Okay. That's it for me then.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Judy?
Well, other than what I just talked about, Thanksgiving being a problem, things seem to be going okay up at the transfer station. I do, however, have some news about the town well. And I have been calling our person to see when he was going to Dan Frost, to see when he was going, and I'm not getting any phone calls back. And I knew we were having a meeting today, so I called today and did not get any answer from Dan Frost. And I did find out from another source that he has 20 wells to dig, and that basically my source said, and I asked, does he not want to do it? And my source said, yes, he does not want to do our well. So with that information, I'm actually glad to hear, instead of carrying us along in this process and not knowing what's happening. So what that means is we need to either go back to the drawing board with the sending out for requests for proposals, or we go to one of the proposals that we turned down 2 years ago. Now, of course, that's an old proposal, so I'm not exactly sure, but we do have to look for somebody else. So, what would the board like to do?
Well, I have a question. He has not formally conveyed to us that he does not wish to fulfill his part of that contract.
Actually, my source said, hasn't he called you? He was going to call you, and he has not called me. So I don't know what to do, whether...
Yeah.
Well, we have to never receive any monies or anything from the town.
No,
No, he has not.
Do you
So it's
want,
just some
And we've
verbal-
not signed any
No.
contract as such.
do you want Steve to try to call him tomorrow? See if he can find him?
He
Yeah,
can,
he's-
I called
I mean, it's up
today.
to you, you know.
If he wants to. Actually,
I
I've been
kinda-
telling people in the town, if you know Dan Frost, call him and ask him what's happening with the town hall well. And some people say, well, I know him, I'll give him a call. But we're not hearing anything. And my source said that he really does not want to do it. So, but he won't return my phone calls.
Okay, I'll have Steve see if he can get a hold of him tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
At least try.
Yeah, we need to hear, it seems to me, since he originally accepted the contract, that we need to hear from him, not, you know.
Well,
somebody
how
else.
long is he going to drag
That's
out?
it, we
Right,
have to,
right, right,
we have
so
to get
not
something.
answering my
response,
phone
yeah.
calls?
He's got to respond in some fashion.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a hold of him. I think Steve might even have his cell number.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't have any problem,
I have both of them.
Okay, you do
I've
too,
got both
okay.
of them.
I don't have any problem with changing,
Well,
especially if he's not spotting.
Yeah, he's not.
I know some of their competition, one company, and they've got 20 wells to dig before January 1st, and they're not gonna make it. Just, you know,
Mm.
I won't say the name, but I know,
Right.
I know a guy that works for them, and so that may be part of the problem, but there's still no excuse.
Yeah, because
Right,
he's
right.
actually known about this well for over 2 years.
Right.
So somehow we've never made the top of his list in 2 years.
Mm.
Which is not good.
And we've had our permit in early September.
Hmm.
Well, we certainly need to talk.
Okay, we'll see if we can,
Well, what do we do? What are our alternatives? Instead of just saying, well, we'll contact him.
Do we have to do another RFP?
I don't know, that's really my question.
I would recommend another RFP because 2 years
it's a long
is
time.
a long time.
Yeah, that's my concern too.
I'd like to maybe give Frost one last chance to reply, and if not, then I'd like to authorize an RFP to go out.
Do you want to give a certain time? If he can be contacted tomorrow, then,
Let's say give him a few days, let's say the other week.
okay.
Okay.
The RFP is already written, it's just a matter of.
Right,
revision.
Changing the,
Changing
Yeah.
dates.
Just
Right.
changing dates.
okay, so that will be,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. So if we don't hear from them by Friday, maybe next Monday, they put out a new RFP.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have nothing in writing contractual with him at all?
No, we do not.
He just said he would do it.
Right.
Right.
That's the response to the.
Well, he did reply to the RFP.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Right.
did, and
Yeah,
I
he
have,
gave
I
up.
have that.
Okay.
And
We
we gave an
accepted his
estimate and stuff
reply
like
to
that.
RFP.
Right, and he's been on site a couple of
Right.
times, so, you know, he has shown interest, but we've never signed anything on a dotted line
Yeah.
saying that he would do it.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll try, and if not, Monday we'll do the start.
Okay.
Because we have the permit, so we're okay. We just
Yeah,
have to find a well
we're
driller,
fine.
basically.
How long is the permit good for?
I found out that it's actually ongoing.
Okay.
Right.
There's really no.
There's no deadline, so we're okay there, so we just have to find a well driller.
And one of my other questions was, and I don't think it makes a difference, I don't think they really, the state really has any conditions around who does the well. I think
I
as
don't think
long
so.
as the person or the company is authorized to dig wells, then we can really have anybody. So I don't think we have to go back to the state and say, well, we're not having this person, we're
I don't
having that
think so.
person. I don't think
I
that
mean,
has.
because they could have gone out of business and we'd have to get somebody else,
Yeah.
so.
And there's a little small piece at the back of my brain saying, I wonder why he doesn't want to do it. I mean, is there something that's developed over time that he's
It's all
now
the same.
realizing this particular bid is under, it's going to be more complicated than he expected? I mean, is there
Well,
some
it
reason?
is complicated because of the uphill.
Yeah.
Right,
And that is the complicated. According to Ray Smith, you know, he has a plan and he knows what he needs to do to get the well drilled up there. And actually they're waiting for more solid ground so that they can run the heavy equipment up. And we thought, well, December was surely going to be the time that maybe Frost was going to do it. And obviously now, hearing what I'm hearing, it's not his plan. So the problem that we have is that we cannot use that water. And even for washing dishes or whatever, because the state says that it is polluted. And yesterday they had the Christmas Santa Claus coming for the kids, and you know they couldn't use anything in the kitchen or in the bathroom, and so they had to go out for the porta potty. And it's getting mighty cold to be using the porta potty.
One of the things that was discussed before I left was that you were talking about shocking it.
Yes, what happened is that for a well, you can shop,
Yeah,
but you cannot shop us.
Eyes at the state.
okay, I got you.
That's what they told
And that's what we have.
me. It was less than 63 people, 25%. 25 days.
So,
Okay.
More.
that's it. That I have. Do we need to vote on your resolution?
Do you want me to put it in the form of a motion?
Sure, why don't we, this way we'll have it.
I'll make a motion then that we send out an RFP for drilling the well. If we don't get a response from Frost by Friday, we'll put the RFP out beginning next Monday.
I second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Friday is what?
Friday is the 18th. If there's a
22nd?
Today's what, the 14th?
14th, it's the 18th on Friday.
Oh,
Friday's the 18th.
Okay, Friday.
Yeah, we should add that, Friday the 18th.
Okay.
Great. Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do you have anything else, Judy?
No, that's it.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything?
The only thing I have is, before I left, we talked about a new radio base station that we're going to be putting in the town clerk's office, and the question was raised about how that will change the monthly fee for our radio connection, and the answer is it won't.
Okay.
Because we're using equipment, we're just repurposing a base, a mobile radio from one of the trucks for our purposes. We're not getting any new equipment, and so we won't have to change the fee. So if it's going to be the same.
Same.
All it's going to cost us is to put in the antenna and a power source and the wiring, and we should be good.
Did they give us an estimate on that? Really?
Not yet, they're coming tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon they're going to come and they're going to look the place over and
okay.
figure out what it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where does the antenna go? On top of the roof?
This
Yeah,
will
we're
be,
going to have the roof, we're going to drop the line straight, this could be right directly over the EMD.
So we
office.
can't
Yeah.
get a hold of, like if somebody calls and says there's, say, a big pothole in the road, they'll call the office and then the girls try to get a hold of Keith or one of the fellows, and the radios don't reach, you have to stand outside in a certain
This will make it so much
position. It's
easier.
make it easier, they can contact them quickly
yeah,
and get things
right.
taken care of.
And of course, for the emergency management piece of it, we need to be able to contact when we need it, we need now, we can't be fussing around with the equipment that doesn't work. So,
No, that's a good step forward.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's all I have.
Thank you. Andy?
Maybe a question for Paul about the Goodeville Bridge.
Sure. The last time I was up there was a couple days ago. Lou and I went out and we talked to the gentleman there. They were they're getting ready to pour the north abutment. And Lou talked to them and they were very optimistic. They said they should be done with that. They expected it done by Christmas. And of course, Lou and I are shaking our heads. This is not going to happen, but they're optimistic about it. Or delusional, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which
Could be a little bit
Was
both.
it the excavator, the guy operating the excavator?
No, these guys were in the north abutment. They were setting things up
They were setting the rebar up.
for the concrete pour.
Because one is
The
already
one
done.
on the Londonderry side.
Yes, that's correct.
The other one's done.
Yeah. It
Are
appears to
they
be
look
that
behind, and are they getting fined and all?
they
that?
will be getting fined after the 31st of December.
December.
Oh, no, December,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, we did get an
Oh,
extension to that.
that's
Yeah. And I got an extension from FEMA until September of next year, because we still have to pave it in the spring.
Right.
So even though this is supposed to be accomplished, and we should be driving on it in theory by the end of the month, the pavement won't be done until the spring. That, of course, is predicated on the fact that we expect it to be cold and snowy now. Who knows?
Well, they've been lucky they can do the bridge.
There. But anyway, they said the bridge part, they're gonna be able to drop the units. That'll go pretty quickly. They're pouring in. But did you get the same sense of?
Yeah, they were supposed to pour over the last weekend, so the abutment should be poured by now.
I haven't been there.
And by Christmas, they were gonna have the cement deck on it.
Yeah, they were very optimistic.
The last time I was there, I know you guys don't think I do anything.
We know.
I've stopped there a few times.
Yeah.
And the excavator told me that they were having an awful time on the north side. And that was what the holdup was, just that it was really compacted. He didn't say whether it was ledge or rock.
I think
But
this
he
is
said that's no wonder nobody else wanted to get on.
Oh,
And
really?
he told me that.
Oh, okay. I think there's some ledge on the other side, as I recall.
Probably.
There's a part that got knocked free, I thought, underneath it. Yeah. So anyway, that's that's the last we heard.
People just been asking.
Oh, and like they should, we're only, 4.5 years into this.
Well, that was the big one, and we weren't sure if we were gonna get the money.
There was a time when
And
we
the
were,
people, the neighbors, the people who live on
They
that
weren't,
road have been wonderful.
Yeah, they weren't.
yeah,
They have,
They
are
weren't.
so happy that it's getting done.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
we have
got through a lot of
complaints.
choices in that thing. Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Andy?
Maybe about the,
Sure, go ahead.
I was asked to look into testing the spring or testing the water over here.
Oh, right.
And it seems that, must state
Because
is
if we put
contradict.
Clorox in it, right?
Well, I didn't even get that far.
Oh, okay.
I asked them about it. It doesn't fall into a public water supply. Because for one thing, we're not on a public water system. And I've got the man's name at home, but if there's not 25 people there at once, more than 60 times a year, then it falls into, they told me to just order the test kits and test for E. coli and coliform.
And
We did have that done already.
We've had that done.
So they just asked if it showed up
It's just
with
coliform.
dirty, then to do it again.
Uh-huh.
That's all they told me.
Who is they?
It was, not the regular, like when we went through Irene, this was to do with municipalities and public water systems, which we didn't fall into. He said, he just explained that we were exempt from all of those things. And
Yeah, we don't have a municipal water supply.
Right.
And it's exactly for what the numbers you just quoted.
But I asked him and he just said, test it, and they didn't say not to drink it if it comes out clean.
But see, the state fell into it.
Yeah, the
That's
state-
what I mean.
Yeah,
These
so
were
it's
from the
like-
state.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was gonna get asked about that tonight. It's all at my house, so.
That's all right. Well,
Yeah.
It's another fellow I've never talked to before.
Well, maybe we should do another test.
Yeah, he said,
Do you have the kits
well, I'm
or should
already
we
in,
get one?
I can order them.
Okay, might as well
And
try
we'll
it.
just get the, what he said, we don't need the real intense one.
No, we haven't had
Right.
the intense.
Right, well, let's try it again.
So he told me now that I've been asking, they've got me on record, as the health officer inquiring, so I'll have a couple sent out.
All right, well, might as well try it again, maybe something
Yeah.
happened in between.
Lots of times where you test it from, the
Well,
faucet
it said to
screws
test it
it
from
up.
the
You have
faucet.
to do it from the faucet.
Some faucets are better than others.
Hmm.
I tested about 90 of them, and,
Well, when it comes, would you do it for me? then?
yes, I think they want me to.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna give you that chore.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, do you have anything else?
No.
I have one thing, there was a little note in our box from Pam to the select board. There's an event/auction at the Townsend Town Hall this Saturday, the 19th, to benefit the after-school program that that takes place in Jamaica. The organizers, I think, might be Susie. I should have asked her, but I completely forgot. We're wondering if they could borrow some of the tables from our town hall for the event. We are missing one table. I don't know where it went at one time, but there's one table missing from the town hall. It's been missing for quite a while. I think I don't mind if it went from here, from the town hall to, in town, but to have it go all the way to Townsend, I don't know.
Townsend.
I think it's, I don't think we should take them out, but that's just my opinion. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well, since we
I
have a
mean, at the
history-
Townsend Town Hall, they have tables there. I don't know
Yeah.
what the issue is.
And the
And the
church,
school
the
has,
church has lots of them.
right, and the school here, if they want to borrow tables, they have tables there
Yeah.
that they could take. I
And it's for
assume.
the school that they're asking?
It's an after-school program that they have here at the school. They have an after-school program. And they're having an auction. And I don't know what kind of auction, I can find out more tomorrow. If I
That's
can.
not the penny auction, is it?
No, something to do with the after-school program. I don't know, maybe the kids make things and, I have no idea.
Is the after-school program just for Jamaica kids, or is it for like the whole district?
This one is just, I don't know if the other schools have it, I know they
I'm
might.
just curious if this fundraiser was just for Jamaica?
I don't
or
know,
just
I'll
for-
have to ask Pam tomorrow, she wasn't here when I picked this up tonight, so I
They
don't
need
know.
like 10 tables or 2 or?
I have no idea, she didn't say, but I think to leave the tables from here to Townsend's I'm not saying that they'll lose them, but they could get,
Well, we already have a history of losing one of them, let's not,
Yeah.
I'd be reluctant to send them too far away.
yeah, I mean, usually we don't send them out, you know, the fire department doesn't send them out, and it's
Yeah.
kind of, because they do get lost, not on purpose, you know.
Get mixed up with other people's
Yeah,
equipment.
they get mixed up and whatnot, but, I mean, Townsend, we have the town hall has, school has tables.
And it's
all
gonna
this
take
thing.
place in town?
In Townsend, right, Saturday. So I will check more with them, and, but I don't think our table should be taken out of town hall. What would you like me to tell her?
Well, unless there's a compelling reason that's not articulated in that note,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I could go along with it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on that, this little subject?
How about you ask her all the questions you'd like, and if you think they should have a couple of tables, we'll lend them a couple of tables and we will.
And we'll see who's in charge too. All right, we
If
can.
they like need 2 tables for people from Jamaica or something, I don't know, it's just a little vague.
Yeah,
All right, let me find out more information and take it from there.
yeah,
I like the idea, let's just let,
yeah, I'm certainly willing
Okay.
to cooperate, but at the same time, let's figure out why
Right,
they're
right.
coming all the way here for tables.
Okay, let me do some further checking, and if I feel that they're
Sure.
really needed, then they can take 2. We'll make sure there's, our name is on the bottom and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay. I have nothing else. We have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Oh, I'll second it. I was thinking of something.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.